So my ex-girlfriend goes to the gym that I go to, and I've been seeing her there for the past like 2 years, and she's an ex from like 2 years ago. So you can imagine it's a little bit weird, but it's the typical awkward shit that I can handle. But there's a little bit of a specialty to this situation because she is obsessed with me still. And I used to be obsessed with her about 5 years ago, which is where this whole thing started. So this girl, we'll call her Pamela, and her sister is also very important to the story as well, but we don't need to name her, we can just call her the sister. Pamela was like the first girl that ever showed me really any sort of attention in high school. So at the age of maybe 15 or 16, just after high school, we had a little fiasco. We met up a few times in the summer, and I really, really liked her. I was obsessed with her. We would like meet up, go like to some lakes and jump in the water and shit, and I'd like walk her dog with her. And we almost had like, you know, a thing. But it was a kind of will they, won't they, and it never actually happened because I was too scared to do anything, and obviously, as the girl, she wasn't going to do anything either. So eventually she gave up on me, and then one day I randomly tried to flirt with her, and she was like, "Oh, you've missed your chance, mate." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And then I wanted to kill myself for a while. Just kidding. No, it was sad. I really hated that because, yeah, I realized I'd missed my chance. And so that made me love her even more because I was just like, wow, I could have had it and I didn't. So then I was like infatuated by her for ages. Anyway, then I get a girlfriend. And so I stopped speaking to Pamela. So I got my girlfriend in college. I was like 17 and I had my first, like, everything out the way, you know, the whole shebang. We went the full flipping way, baby. That is disgusting. I hate her, by the way. Actually, fuck her. My first ex, fuck her. She doesn't need to be named. Fuck her. Sorry. Anyway, basically, it doesn't really matter. I broke up with her, and then literally, like, a few days later, Pamela messaged me and was like, "I saw your ex today." And I was like, "What the fuck? Like, how did you even know?" And then she started talking about her, and my ex actually hated Pamela the whole time because she thought I was still obsessed with her. I don't even know how she knew that. Well, she cheated on me, so I think she was actually just projecting the cheating thing onto me. Anyway, that doesn't fucking matter, bro. Yeah, she was technically right, though, because I did still like Pamela. Now, anyway, so obviously I'm speaking to Pamela again straight out of this relationship, and we're having a great time again. And I'm thinking, wow, you know, now that I've had my first everything, I'm kind of getting this all out the way. It's a lot easier with Pamela. So we start meeting up again, and she comes around my house one time. We get super drunk, too drunk, to the point where the chopper doesn't rise. The man downstairs asleep. He's snoring, and so it doesn't work, and I'm like, fuck. We don't get to do anything. You know how that goes. Really awkward. But then I managed to just get it up for like a second, and I'm like, oi, Pamela, look at this. Super crucial detail to the story there because it comes up so many times in the future. Anyway, now she's seen the man downstairs, and she's like, wow, oh my god, what the hell? I can't believe that. Because essentially she thinks it's massive. But guys, I'm going to keep it $1.50, a stack, and 100. She thinks it's 9. It's like 7. At a push, 7.5. So nothing crazy. Pretty just slightly above average, maybe. I don't even know. I honestly think that might be the average these days. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Holy smokes, it doesn't matter. So she sees that, and then it kind of fills us out again from there because we just never really end up doing anything because, you know, I'm now in the mindset that my chopper doesn't work. A little later in the year, like, we just start speaking again. I don't even really know why, but she's got a boyfriend at this point. And so it's kind of weird, but like, I'm taking her to college sometimes with me because we go to the same college, and I'm like, oh, I can take you in. So I just drive past the house and take her in, and, you know, I don't think she tells her boyfriend about it. And eventually, after a couple of weeks, I'm blocked, which is fair. And then about a year and a half goes by, and I'm unblocked, and I'm re-added. Classic how that goes, you know? They always come back. They always come back. And so I add her, and I'm like, what happened, lol? And she's like, just adding people back after my ex. So I was like, oh, okay, lol. What happened? How did it go? And then, you know, we start speaking again, and we start seeing each other properly this time. So I'm speaking to her for like a good 2 months, and it's honestly going like relationship tier speed. Like, we're seeing each other every day. I'm having a great time with her. I'm meeting her friends. We're going to the gym every day after work. Like, it's great. And I am in heaven because I'm just so infatuated with her still. To that day, I am still in love with her because I never had any closure of any sort, right? Anyway, a couple months go by, and I have noticed a couple things. You know, she's speaking to her ex again. I've just seen from like glancing at her phone, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. I'm not comfortable with it. We haven't discussed exclusivity at all, and like, I haven't mentioned anything about her ex because it's just so awkward to talk about. So I was like, you know what? In my mind, if it happens, it happens. If she gets back with her ex, she gets back with her ex. What can I do? I'm just going to be fine with it and move on. And lo and behold, that happened. So we never went the full way because of that, right? Because I was concerned she was going to get with her ex. I didn't want to go the full way with her because I knew it would make me more obsessed with her, and I didn't want that. So I at least had the self-restraint to be like, yeah, let's not get fully attached. And honestly, that might have been part of the reason why she got back with him anyway. So yeah, I'm then randomly blocked again out of nowhere after like 2 months of literally speaking like every day. She just blocks me to get back with her ex. And then like 5 days later, she unblocks me. And I'm like, yeah, fuck that. I declined her friend request and I didn't speak to her for a while after that. So then fast forward to now. I have had a girlfriend for the last, 10 months, and everything's going amazing. I love her so much. She's so beautiful, funny, and amazing, right? All the great things that you would expect after like 10 months of a first relationship. All the great things that you would expect after like 10 months of a relationship. And about a month ago now, I get a message while I'm on holiday with my friends in the Lake District from Pamela, who I have just discovered from this message has broken up with her most recent boyfriend, not her ex. And she's asking me if I'm out on a night out. And I was like, no, I'm in the Lake District. And she put boring. So I was like, okay, whatever. Edit, obviously, out of respect for my girlfriend, out of respect for myself as well, because of, the whole thing of her disrespecting me in the past. The next day, she messages me saying sorry. I ignore it, and then I speak to my friend about it. We can call him Gary, because Gary is also speaking to Pamela, because Pamela and Gary used to be friends as well. And Pamela reached out to Gary, going like, oh, I've got no one now, I've broken up with my ex and I don't know what to do. And then she started telling Gary about how much she loves me and is obsessed with me and sees me in the gym and asks about me from Gary all the time. And part of me thinks she was doing this because she knows Gary's going to tell me about it, but she also told my friend Carl that she was like, or that I was like her first love. And obviously she knows Carl's going to go and tell that to me. So what happens, I hear about all of it and it puts her in my mind and all this shit, and I'm supposed to like want to fall back in love with her or some shit, right? I don't fucking know. She's obsessed with me. She literally has like admitted it to Gary, right? Gary's telling me, and he's telling me, look, you got to steer as far clear from this girl as possible. So I'm like, you know what, you're right. And I block her and I block her sister because, yeah, I don't want anything to do with her. She is bad news. My relationship right now is amazing and I don't want to screw it up because of this girl who I used to speak to. So I block them. Now, when you block someone on Instagram, you usually don't want to speak to them in person either, right? Typically how it goes. I've blocked them, both, Pamela and her sister. I've given them awful replies, very blunt, very clear that I don't want anything to do with them. I've been polite about it. I've said it's okay when they've apologized, and I've moved on. I've aired the message. I've left it. I see them at the gym from time to time, and I completely ignore them cold shoulder. I obviously don't want anything to do with them, but I know that they're like getting all giddy about seeing me because they tell Gary, and then Gary tells me, oh, by the way, Pamela was all happy that she saw you in the gym the other day, and I was like, yeah, great, whatever. Amazing. I'm sat there like 1 meter away from her, just blindly ignoring her, like completely pretending she's not there. It's the most awkward thing ever for me. Because I'm just trying to do my workout, bro, and I've got this 2 girls next to me who are like I just know they're talking about me, right? And like, obviously that's just uncomfortable for me. Fast forward to today. Or like a couple days ago, I'm in the gym, I'm on the treadmill, I'm finishing up my session. I can see them in the gym, across the gym, doing their workout. I think, cool, the coast is clear. I'm going to finish up on the treadmill, which is next to the door to leave. Important note. Also, the stairs up to the changing rooms, next to the door to leave. Another important note. So, I'm like, cool, I'm going to finish up on the treadmill, head upstairs, grab my stuff, come downstairs, and leave. And that is exactly what I go to do. I leave the treadmill, head up the stairs, get my stuff, come back down, and as I'm coming down, I can see Pamela and her sister talking to the manager of the gym at the treadmills. And I'm thinking, okay, I can hear their mid-conversation. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to sneak past, get to the door, scan my face, get in the tube, and leave. And I do that. So I scan my face, I step in the tube, and before the tube can even shut, I look to my left, and Pamela's in the one to the side of me now. So they've cancelled their conversation. They've emote cancelled, animation cancelled this conversation with the manager, to leave the gym immediately to see where I'm going, I guess. I don't know. Because I'm leaving, they have to leave at the same time. Perhaps that was the theory. And I'm like, okay, you know what, it's fine. Nothing weird's going to happen here. So I just leave, walk to where my car is parked in the car park. And because I've still got one earphone out, I can hear Pamela's sister shout, Pamela, where are you going? What are you doing? And Pamela says, oh, I just need to check something. And at this point, I turn around and a quick glance tells me she's about 5 meters away from me, just following me, walking behind me. And I'm like, okay, maybe their car's over here, who knows? But I noticed her sister was not walking towards me, and I know her sister would have been the one to drive them to the gym. So I'm thinking, okay, it's kind of weird. Why is she walking behind me? Don't know. After like 10 seconds, she stops, but she can see my car at this point. So now she knows the car that I'm driving because I've changed car since I last saw her. She knows the car I'm driving. She knows where I'm parked. And so she goes off to her sister's car now with that new knowledge. And I'm obviously just headed to my car, ignoring everything. And I get in my car and I realize I can see them across the car park. They are miles away, but I can see them and I'm sure they can see me. So I'm sat there, I'm waiting for a couple minutes. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to let them leave first because, I don't want anything weird to happen. And after a couple minutes, they haven't got anywhere. So I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to leave. I'm sure nothing weird's going to happen. I leave the car park, and before I can fucking know anything about it, there is a red car behind me, and that is their car. And I'm like, okay, kind of weird that they chose to leave at the exact same time as me, but whatever. So I'm driving, and I get into a road that has 2 lanes, and they are absolutely flooring it to try and get next to me. And I'm like, oh my God, are we serious? They are following me. They are tailgating the hell out of me. And I'm like, no, this can't be happening. And my windows are rolled down because I don't have AC in my car and it's boiling hot and I just finished a gym session. So I have my windows rolled down and I didn't even think about rolling them up for some reason. Anyway, I get to a roundabout and I'm turning right, so I'm in the right lane. They're in the left lane because they tried to pull up next to me, and I'm thinking, cool, they're going to turn off, I'm going to turn right, we're going to be dandy, they aren't going to follow me. So I turned right, the coast is clear, no one's behind me, and then 5 seconds later, a red car is zooming in my ass and they are right back behind me again, and I'm like, oh my fucking God, bro. I'm being followed. And then we get to another traffic light with 3 open lanes with no other cars, and they pull up beside me, windows rolled down, and they speak to me, and her sister goes, "You're a bit slow, aren't you?" And I go, well, yeah, I got a normal car. Like, why did I even interact with them? I don't know. I regret it so much. And then Pamela goes, "Aw, is it on finance?" Don't know why she said that. Think she was just trying to be funny. Probably just wanted to say something to me in general. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. I'm going to kill myself. Thankfully, the light turns green and we drive off. And here is where they should have turned right to go to their village, and I go straight to go to mine. They didn't turn right. They followed behind me going straight, and they could have overtaken me so easily, but they didn't. They followed me. They followed me to my house. Anyway, to get into my house, I have to pull into a lay-by. So I pull into the lay-by eventually while they're still just behind me. And I'm slowing down, and they drive past on the road, obviously, and I look to my side. And Pamela has like half of her body stuck out of the window, smiling with a humongous grin. And I'm like, oh my God. I don't say anything. I don't look at her. I just notice it. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to die. And I'm literally shaking. Like, I'm absolutely trembling at this point because I'm honestly scared that they could have followed me home. I was home alone at that point. Obviously, I'm not scared of 2 girls. I can fend for myself. But it's more the fact that, like, what am I going to tell my girlfriend? That was all I could think about was, what the fuck am I going to tell my girlfriend? These 2 girls are at my house. I have to explain who she is, why she's there, what the fuck's going on. All of this stuff I just don't want to do. Anyway, thankfully, yeah, they didn't follow me all the way to my house, but they fucking followed me, and it was weird. And they chose to interact with me when I obviously don't want them to. And now I've got to decide what the fuck I'm going to do about it, because I haven't told my girlfriend yet, because I don't want to have to tell her about all of the lore of who this girl is, and I don't want to have to tell her about what's happened, because I can handle it and it's fine. And I don't want to make my girlfriend worry, because I know this is how shit goes wrong in a relationship. And my relationship right now is going so well that I don't want to throw something like this into the works, because it's not worth the risk. Anyway, that's the story. I'm going to keep you updated, because there's probably going to be more developments to this story, and I've honestly kept it very short.